Lisa's crying, Rose's crying, everybody's crying in these interviews. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at all the Blackpink Rolling Stone solo interviews. Should be really interesting. Let's get into it. All right, so starting off with Lisa, Blackpink Lisa on her big ambitions and why going solo made her nervous. Hmm. So I want to keep doing what I do within Blackpink, she says, but personally, I have so many things I want to try. So yeah, I mean, I think Lisa can do anything, she wanted to. So yeah, in 2010, she attended the audition for YG in her native Thailand, became the only one among 4,000 aspiring trainees that made it. Let's see here. She says, I respect everyone's role within Blackpink. I don't want to break the image. I want to keep doing what I do within Blackpink. But personally, I have so many things I want to try. I love photography and I want to try acting and more. Yeah, I mean, we know she loves photography, definitely. Uh, you are Blackpink's main dancer and lead rapper. You also sing. What are you bad at? Interviews. It's so hard to express myself through language, even in Thai. Like when you ask, do you have anything to say to your fans? In my head, there are so many things, but I don't know which words to use. I'm completely confident expressing myself through my body, but when it comes to speaking, it's hard for me. I'm actually sweating now. It's so nervous. I mean, that's crazy. But you can understand certain people are better at expressing themselves in a certain way, and obviously Lisa is very good at expressing herself, as she said, through her body, through dancing and movement. Um, but I still wonder, if she could do some writing and how good she would be with that, expressing herself, intellectually, verbally, in other ways. It makes sense that you're fluent in Thai and Korean. How did you come to speak English so well? I don't. I learned English at school in Thailand. I don't think I knew that. So I went to a full Thai school until sixth grade, spent middle school. I went to a bilingual school, or they had an English program. And so I have a little Thai accent when I speak in English, so people can tell, oh, you're not from here. I don't notice much of an accent when she speaks in English, but I mean, what a great photo, Elisa. I don't think I'm perfect enough to be their idol. Am I there yet? Am I ready? So you took part in dance competitions as a child in Thailand. Is that what you wanted to do? What was your childhood dream? A stewardess. I once went to Singapore with my family. I saw the beautiful flight attendants on Singapore Airlines wearing this uniform, and I was like, I begged my mom to buy me their uniform, which she did, but sadly I didn't meet the height requirements. You have to be tall enough to reach the overhead luggage. And then you train to be a dancer with encouragement from your mom. So I've been going to dance classes since I was 5. I completed all the dance competitions. And my dad would just say, "Oh, you won," and that was that. It's a dad thing. My mom was my audience at home. When I danced to the dance CD she bought, turns out her dream was to be an actor. So when I was little, she sent me to acting and dancing classes. Didn't know that. I hated acting. I was a baby trying to memorize lines, but I didn't know how to read. How could I memorize lines? I was bullied by an oppa, older brother in Korean, in my class because I couldn't read when I was like 4. So you call your mom every day after you moved here to become a trainee. She said, "Don't come back, just hang on for another year." There would be times when I'd say, "I just want to go back to school." Our debut plans kept being pushed back, and I couldn't see the end of this. When was this going to end? Like, when? Do we have to get tested every single month? And when I told her I want to quit, my mom would just say, think about your situation. How many kids want to be in your place? If you give up now and come home, do you think you can have a normal life? You're just going to try again. You're here now. Hold on to the end. How great that must be to have somebody that you're that close to and have that kind of encouragement, from them, um, to keep going with something so hard like that. More than a decade later, you're one of K-pop's biggest stars. How do the young YG trainees greet you? Do do you give them advice? So she says there is a Thai trainee now that reminds me of when I was young. So I'm trying to take care of her. It's not so much about giving advice. We eat together, go shopping. She's 17 and has been here for nearly 2 years. I asked her once, "Is there anything you're struggling with?" And she started to cry. "I want to dance like you, Uni, but I'm so bad and I'm so sad about that." I just keep telling her, keep practicing. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Um, I can see why she looks up to you. When you appear in Blackpink videos, the screen lights up. She's got that presence. But you also know how to play, how to not take yourself too seriously. So, I never thought about it like that. You're the first one to say in such detail. Normally, people just tell me you look great, you look cool. Um, when I'm shooting a video, there's so much to care about. Pretty facial expressions, outfit, is my hair too messy, and so on. But I also have these ideas that I imagined for my particular scene. Should I try this or that? And many fans think of you as Blackpink's best dancer. Do you sometimes want to break this image or try different things? I respect everyone's role within Blackpink. I don't want to break the image. I want to keep doing what I'm doing within Blackpink. But personally, I have so many things I want to try. Like, yeah, that we already covered that. Photography. She said she hated acting, but she wants to try it now. So, what are you curious about in music? Blackpink is trying different songs, but there's a lot we haven't done. Reggae, even jazz. Like you said before, is hip hop the only thing I'm good at? What if it turns out I'm also good at traditional Thai music? I'm curious to know how much I can expand what I do. Even within dance, there are so many genres I haven't tried, like contemporary dance, music wise, dance wise. I feel I have so much to learn, so much more to learn. Any artists or colleagues who make you jealous? Not so much jealousy. Rosalia is cool. She has her own Spanish culture that's inside her person that influences her music. When you see her, you think, oh, she's Spanish, and she uses her culture so well, making it into her own thing. Own thing. In my 2021 solo single La Lisa, I wanted to create a Thai atmosphere. I just want people to know I'm Thai, so people don't know. Oh, she's part of a girl group from Korea, so maybe she's Korean. So I talked to our producer Teddy and put different Thai sounds into my music. Right. Yeah, Rosalia, she did her one of her dance videos is with her music, I think. What was it like to go solo, standing on stage alone? Very nervous. Normally all four of us together. Yeah. She said, it has all come from me, and the fans watch only me. It was a huge burden. But what can you do? This is my solo. I just practice and monitor myself a lot. Your producer, Teddy Park, is probably one of the most important people for Blackpink. How does he stimulate you musically? Oppa knows how to speak to me, and I understand him, and then he pushes so hard. He'd say again and again, a little more, a little prettier. In the past, I used to only rap. One day, he told me to try vocals, but I'm so bad at singing. At least there was a time when I was really bad. That whole year between As If It's Your Last in 2017 and Dru Dru in 2018 was really rough for me. What I went to the studio to record, nothing came out. I cried. I cried. She cried. I felt like I was bringing the team down. Opa pushed me hard. You can't. No, try harder. Go back in there. Because of Teddy, I overcame that time. I feel a lot more confident about singing now. Wow. And Light Up the Sky, the 2020 Netflix documentary about Blackpink, you said, I'm a role model in Thailand, but I don't even know what kind of a musician I'll be. What did you mean by that? Whenever I go to Thailand, there's this new generation of babies that all look up to me. Um, they look up to me as an idol, but I think am I perfect enough is to be their idol. And yes, we already over that. Absolutely everybody still has self-doubt. Nobody's perfect ever. Yeah, but some people deal with it and overcome it better than others. You went back to Thailand recently for your birthday. How was it? First time in 3 years. My mom and dad are getting old, and now we don't have quarantine. It's easier to travel. when I have time, I want to return to Thailand. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to say, I don't care what the company is going to say, but I want to see them as often as I can. So she's saying, I don't want to say, YG, go screw yourselves. Don't tell me where to go at this point because they've been doing that for a long time. But yeah, she wants to see them. I actually have a friend in Thailand. I might be able to visit Thailand sometime. I'm not sure. Maybe if I hear Lisa's back in Thailand. Um, actually, I tried to get him to get some photos or autograph or something for Lisa when she went back to Thailand for her birthday, but my friend couldn't do it. But yeah, we'll see one day. What do you miss about living with your family? I miss traveling together. My dad is Swiss and he really values having a family day. We'd go to a mall together at least once or twice a year, traveling abroad together. I miss that so much. When Blackpink was doing the world tour, we did the Europe. We visited Europe together. That was so convenient because of packing. Mom, come please, I'd say, and she just pack all my stuff. Mom, take out all my stuff, please, and she unpack it. It's the best. That's the best. To be her baby forever. I actually asked her, Mom, how old do you think I look? She said, to her, I'll always be 5. Do you still talk to your mom on the phone every day? You mentioned in the past that she takes care of your finances. I talked to her this morning. It's her birthday soon. I just asked her, where are you going to go for your birthday? And she doesn't take care of my finances anymore. I was wondering about that. I saw that in a documentary. Like her mom takes care of her finances, and I heard that's because of her manager issue she had with her manager. Um, but I don't know. But she doesn't anymore. She manages her own money and she buys what she wants. The advantage to mom managing the money was there was always a limit to how much I could spend a month. But now that I'm alone, it's, where did it go? It's clear that family is the most important thing in your life. Who's the funniest? My dad has a typical middle-aged man humor. Mom is really affectionate and cute. I love their dynamic together. Daddy is like, whatever, while mom goes, ooh, daddy, just watching this makes me laugh. Okay. Have you ever wondered what will happen if Blackpink ends one day? I don't think we've talked about this amongst ourselves. We jokingly said Jisoo Uni is going to live in Hawaii. Lisa will return to Thailand, but I don't want to think about the end. It's too sad. Someday we'll get married and things like that, but then I see the Spice Girls, how they got together for a reunion. Can we do that someday? Will I be able to dance then like I do now? Why not? I mean, won't Blackpink last at least 10 more years? We'll be nearly 40 by then. I hope Blackpink lasts 10 more years. I mean, why not? Who will Lisa be in her 40s? I don't know. I still have a good vibes doing different things like now. Yeah, she can keep evolving and she can, yeah, do what she wants. What are you up to these days? We're all going back and forth from the recording studio, and this is a couple months ago, I think, April. We're doing our own stuff. We're going abroad because of fashion business. I've been working nonstop for the past week without a break. If I have a day off, I just stay at home. Yeah, that's what I've heard about Lisa is she just likes to stay at home and watch Netflix and stuff, and I can relate to that, honestly. Personally, I mean, me and Lisa, I just like to be with Lisa, in her house, chilling with her, at the very least. That would be awesome, because we would get along great in that way, uh, in a lot of ways, but in that way, don't want to constantly be going out, and you can just, especially if you're with Lisa, you have a universe of happiness and fun there. Um, Nothing else scheduled that day. I'll go back to the house, and this interview, I wanted you to feel like my answers were coming from inside me without a filter as honestly as possible. And that's great. These look like really good and revealing the most interesting interviews they've done, I think, the most revealing, definitely. And it's Rolling Stone, so that it's fitting. I don't have the prettiest words to tell you. I only have what's inside me. Oh, come on, Lisa, everything is pretty with you. Power of vulnerability and why Blackpink is family. That fierce rose persona, it's fun when that happens, but I can turn on this whole different character. So Rose has juggled different personas her whole life. Born to Korean parents in New Zealand, Roseanne Shyung Park grew up mostly in Australia, comparing her childhood to Hannah Montana's double life. She was the Korean Chaeyoung. Uh, During the week, she was an Aussie kid, but behind BLACKPINK persona, she says, I actually don't do too much. I live a really quiet life. My mom comes over to my house, and that's about it. So again, another BLACKPINK member that's very different. I think most of them are very different than their on stages. I mean, they're more playful, less secure, and they don't really like going out and going on tours and performing and everything. So that's interesting. They're also different than their on stage, personas. Um, she has a golden voice, the guitar playing, high note hitting singer. She had On the Ground that came out. She says, I'm trying to bring the two worlds together in the middle. Um, she says, munching fried rice at the faux restaurant inside the headquarters of YG Entertainment. That'd be a prime destination to go, obviously, YG Entertainment, if you go to South Korea. And I think they have like a cafe for fans right outside. The Fierce Rose persona, it's fun when that happens, when I can turn on this whole different character. Yeah, it's kind of like acting in a way then, I guess. But you get into the performance like an actor does, so you really feel it and you're in the zone kind of, and you become that. What was the pandemic like for you back when everything stopped? Oh, it was terrible. I never rested like that in my life, and it was the worst. I was sick at one point. Things your body goes through when stress hits you. I got the shingles. It came with me not knowing what to do in life without work. I was a workaholic, obviously. I couldn't stand the fact that suddenly all of our schedules were empty for the next 2 to 3 months. I started to think, what if people aren't interested in me or us by the end of the pandemic? Wow. What am I going to do for the rest of my life? I don't know why I thought like that. Now I think about it, I'm so dramatic. Why am I so dramatic? How did you use that empty time? I use the time to get to know myself better. How do I cope with myself? How do I deal with myself in a room that's quiet? I think a lot of people could really relate. I was extremely extroverted back then. It was time for me to tune into my inner self, act like an introvert. I kind of created this introverted persona. I remember being in a big room with a bunch of people and I wanted to go home for the first time. Wow, this is what an introvert feels like. Interesting. Blackpink is family forever. I don't think it'll ever end. Was music something you gravitated towards as a child without thinking? I think so. We had this really old piano that was handed to us from our auntie. Yeah, I used to cry because I didn't want to practice. The teacher was really scary. Even in Australia, Korean parents force piano lessons on their kids, of course. And the mornings we'd wake up, and if we wanted to watch a movie, we'd click download and we have to wait like 2 days. But the piano, we don't have to charge it. We could play it on the spot. My parents were always at work. Surprisingly, I didn't really hang out with friends too much back then. My friends all lived a quiet life far from me. And my sister would be studying. I'd have nothing to do. I'd watch TV for 3 hours. And by the end, I'd be so bored, I'd start playing the piano until my parents literally said, we need to sleep now. Can you be quiet? So she started playing the piano because she was bored. Okay. Tell me about the moment when your parents said, Rose, stop singing and go to bed. Please. What do you remember from your childhood home? It was normal, two-story house with a backyard and a dog. There were a lot of elderly people living around us. It wasn't a youthful area. It was very quiet, friendly. We were this quiet Asian family. There were a lot of lizards. We wake up and put our shoes outside. There'd be tiny lizards everywhere and cockroaches. Terrified of them still. Got that shorter hair going on now. Looks pretty good. Let's talk about music. You're serious about your craft. There's all this noise, photo shoots, interviews, spectacle, but the music is what matters. As corny as it sounds, it's correct, definitely. It starts with my love for music. That's what makes me happy. It's like a sense of, what do you call it? Healing. It's something that calms me down during the day, stops me from thinking. But with that, I get to do all these amazing things. During my time off, I started to realize I just love to sit and sing. Recently, I picked up the guitar again. She put it down? She put the guitar down? I hadn't been doing that for the past 2 to 3 months and caught up in life. But I had a few days when I didn't have anything, I didn't plan anything. I just decided to stay home and see what happens. You in an empty room, basically. So, yeah. You have high standards and sometimes you're harsh on yourself. Is this drive to be better sometimes a heavy burden? For sure, sometimes I look at somebody who's very confident and I admire that. I wish I was that way too. I was insecure about it, but only because I care about it so much. I have so much respect for it. It does burden me sometimes, and I try really hard to overcome it. Confidence is something I'm working on every single day. Wow. So Rosé struggles with confidence. Wow. Again, it's like you're putting on that actor, that professional persona, right? When you're on stage. Insecurity isn't a negative thing. It's one of the most powerful drivers of good art. Tell me about how you make yourself vulnerable to music. And that's a good point. The frailties of being human, the pains of being human, they serve as fuel and inspiration that you can pour channel into creativity, right? And that other people can really feel and relate to. Not always negative, necessarily negative things, positive too, but just the aspects of being human. And so I think I'm just a vulnerable. She's vulnerable. I'm beginning to realize how sad it is to live life without tension. In the past, if I felt nervous, it burdened me so much because you just want to be relaxed, right? Don't we all want to be relaxed? Yeah. But to be nervous about something, to really care about something is what makes life so interesting and fun. That's true. If you're really nervous about something, that means you really care and there's something in life at least that you really care about, right? You're really feeling something. What made you think about all this? Why am I crying? Oh, everybody's crying in these interviews. Everybody's crying. I mean, Lisa's crying, Rose's crying, everybody's crying in these interviews. I was so weird. I'm sorry. I hate myself for this. This is so funny. This is so weird. Oh my God. What made me think of that? It's been how many years since we started BLACKPINK? 60 years. So it's about time to start feeling comfortable in certain settings. I think a good amount of feeling comfortable and a good amount of feeling vulnerable is always good. I also really enjoy the feeling of vulnerability and really wanting or craving something. I really enjoy that feeling. So I don't want to lose that. Yeah, because if you start wanting and craving things, I guess, are you living? Are there any artists you're jealous of these days? Recently, I went to a Dua Lipa concert and I was blown away. She worked with her. You released your first solo single last year, On the Ground and Gone, to great success. What was it like standing alone without your bandmates? Very challenging. Tell me about the lyric, Everything I Need is on the Ground. This should be good. I think On the Ground is one of the most interesting songs lyrically from Blackpink or a Blackpink member, right? This line was initially written by the producer of the song. That's what caught me and my producer the most. We were drawn to the song because of this phrase. Ah, interesting. So she was drawn to the song because of a lyric that had been written down. Everything I need is on the ground. What is on the ground for you? Just us as people. A year and a half ago, maybe two, I remember us eating. There was four of us and Teddy. The four of us and Teddy. We were just hungry people. We go to the restaurant very hungry, and the food was really good. This is what makes us feel like people, just eating with the people we love. It feels like family. But what's what makes us happy? At the end of the day, you got to sit down and remember that everything we need is the most normal things we do, hanging out with the people we love, doing the things we love. That's kind of what I thought I was talking about on the ground. She's talking about, in the song, I get so high and I've achieved everything, but I realize everything I need is on the ground. People, small things, the connections. Music can be big, and that's very exciting. We love that because it creates a movement and we can gather people together. We can enjoy and celebrate life together, but then did we get here? What does music mean to you? Everything I need is on the ground where I started. Cool. Have you ever imagined life after Blackpink, after this is over? I think about it, but I don't think it will be over. Blackpink is for family forever. I grew up with them. They're a part of me. I don't think it'll ever end. It's dumb of me to ever worry about that or think about it, but you know when something is so good and you love it so much, you always think of that side because you don't want to lose it. Seems Jenny and Jisoo's interviews aren't completely accessible yet, so we're going to kind of look at some excerpts from them. So Jenny says, we're no different from the girls in our age group. Sure, there are times when we talk about what kind of influence we could have, but what we should bring on our next comeback, what we actually love is talking about our cats, dogs, good food, and pretty places. So they just, yeah, being, they like the influence they can have, but they also just want to be regular, ordinary people. Ordinary. Okay, and some more on the Jenny interview. Being asked about mistakes people make about her, Jenny said that she knows people say she looks pissed all the time, and Jenny told Rolling Stone that ever since she was a child, she's been very timid. Saying hello to someone took a lot of effort for her. Before debut, she heard other trainees asking why she looked pissed every time. And back then, she used to take it to heart and just wanted people to understand that she was very shy. However, as she keeps growing up, when people say this now, Jenny puts more effort into socializing with new people. Knowing this, we can say it was an achievement for her to start saying hello to people, or else the media would have taken it the wrong way. Jenny pointed out that the difference between Blackpink Jenny and her real personality. She said that while the Blackpink Jenny is very powerful, the real Jenny is a softball. She's not so full of swag and charismatic in real life. Common story with all the Blackpink members, right? She and Blackpink Jenny are so different that the K-pop idol feels she's become a whole new person each time. While talking about this topic, she described her and her Blackpink members as just like any other friend group her age. They do talk about their influence and popularity, but they also just want to be ordinary people. So Jenny talks about Blackpink's music and her solo music. She says, again, yeah, Jenny says that Teddy has a big influence on them. Whenever he calls them, they get teased and try working harder. Uh, in Jenny's words, it's attention that Blackpink needs. In a way, he's the driving force of the music. She talked about how Blackpink's music is hip hop at its root. Jenny says that they, being girls in their 20s who come from different backgrounds, are trying to weave new and creative pop music by incorporating Korean and English, admitting that people who do real hip hop look at them, they would look at them like kids singing and dancing. But to her, hip hop is all about cool vibes and swag. So what hip hop is to Blackpink, what is hip hop? So what hip hop is Blackpink's music, and Jenny says that whatever it is, she likes it. Um, Jenny reveals that her music so far has basically been practice. Um, she's not even started with all that she can do, and she revealed during her training days she used to practice a lot of soulful and more R&B music. And as she continues to find her own color, we can expect her to bring out more of her stuff. So she talks about her childhood. Was she lonely or not? So every child has a dream of their own. And when Jenny was asked about hers, she was ready with an answer, saying she knew from an early age she'd not be going for an ordinary job. She did not think that she wanted to be a star, but knew she would like different things other than other kids. So she knew she was different, basically. Oh, that's cute. So Jenny gets real about mental and physical health. So she was mentally and physically sick by the end of Blackpink's world tour. She didn't reveal any details since she didn't want fans to worry, but she said that Blackpink members have been tired working for 3 years straight after her debut. They weren't eating, sleeping, or even hydrating properly for 3 to 4 years, and then they embarked on the world tour. So she said that even if she touched something, she would get allergic to it. I think I heard about this before, and people wanted to like chastise her because she got sick and working so hard, like she was lazy, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, so at that time, she didn't understand how to take care of herself, and her muscles and mind cannot take more of it. But now she knows that sharing problems does a lot of help, and people around you can definitely help a lot. So she's been taking notes on what harms her and what doesn't. So present Jenny is stronger than the past, and she knows what her weaknesses are. And what is Jenny's relationship with her family? And there's some pictures of her mom. So yeah, she also has a close relationship with her mom.
and they're just like sisters. Talking about she spent her childhood in New Zealand, um, and 10 years in the YG dorms. So she technically never actually lived with her parents, and apparently they were living together recently. Well, that would have been fun living with your mom at that age. So now they're going to be separating Jennie and her mom. So Jennie talks about the importance of Blackpink with Rolling Stone. So will she be able to lead a life for Blackpink? So she says that even after 70 years had passed, she cannot imagine herself not being part of Blackpink. There's no backing out from the group. Blackpink is family, and every family there's ups and downs. Um, Blink's know that Blackpink has been close since the trainee years. It's part of the reason why they debuted. They have said that the company saw that they had great teamwork. Yeah, that they saw that they narrowed it down to four girls because these four girls fit together so well, and obviously they do. They all fit so well and have their own thing, but yet come together being something even better.
Okay, now Jisoo, Rolling Stone's Jisoo interview. What we can see. So she was also at the headquarters, YG headquarters, and Seoul. She's been nursing a nagging injury as the group continues to work on the follow up to their 2020 full length, the album. Jesus says she didn't sleep the night before because she's been nursing a bum leg that she heard after slamming into a door. Ow. She says, luckily, we're not done with recording for Blackpink's upcoming album, so I don't need to use my legs yet. The choreography comes after the songs are done. I hope to heal quickly before then. So this was in April, so they weren't done recording then. Hopefully, God, they were done recording now. Um, so yeah, Jennie confirmed previously they're planning a comeback sometime, sometime. Um, and while Jisoo said this is a relatively calm period for the band, because they're not performing live, she still wasn't sure if it's the right time to break out on her own. I'm not sure how much I want to go solo yet. She said, the music I listen to, the music I can do, and the music I want to do. What should I choose? I love songs with lots of instruments. I love different bands and rock music. What do people want from me? There's a chaos of conflicting questions, so I'm still tilting my head in confusion. I'm not sure what will happen with my solo plans this year. So yeah, obviously Jisoo's the only member that's not gone done solo work yet, just covers. Part of that trepidation might be due to Jisoo's uncertainty about living the life of a global pop star. She said that while she loves to perform, unlike bandmates Rose, Lisa, and Jennie, she isn't as enamored with the spotlight or the exchange of energy with the fans that leads to an inevitable void when the show is over and things are quiet again. She says, I still don't know. I think about this every day. What do I exactly like? Sometimes I think it's a mystery, she said, of her relationship with the fame. Hmm. I'm a little different. When I'm on stage, I think about not making mistakes. Performing still feels more like a test than something genuinely fun. Wow. So Jisoo's still kind of not having fun. It's more about work for her. Um, she noted that when the group performed at Coachella in 2019, she hurt her back so badly that she had to take painkillers every night. Wow. I think that was the beginning of that tour. I wanted to perform sitting down, but my pride wouldn't allow me to sit, she recalled. And it wasn't because I loved the stage so much. Um, it was a sense of responsibility and duty. So elsewhere in the interview, Jisoo said she thinks about moving abroad all the time. Wow. A part of her lifelong desire to move around freely and follow the really free soul that's inside her. No matter how I move around, there are people who recognize me. She lamented about one of the difficulties of being such a high profile pop star and that I have to be careful. She noted that it's sometimes hard to talk about her struggles with stress and mental health in public because there are too many eyes on her, even as she knows her bandmates and Blinks always have her back. I love talking to fans. I'm honest with them and talk to them like they're my friends, she said. We laugh so much. But then, even if these people are present in my life, there are difficulties that are my own. And I saw elsewhere Jisoo talked about in this interview that her parents were, I think she was the youngest child, and so their parents were more lenient with her and let her be more kind of a free spirit and less strict with her. And she had to really train herself to learn to be,
very restrictive when she went to YG and had all these rules and things of that nature. And how even when she was in high school, like she didn't have any idea what she wanted to do. She wasn't looking for fame. And the people that knew her like in high school, they're very surprised, that she's doing this lifestyle that's so strenuous and so uh, regulated and so taxing and so on point with the schedule and all the fame and all the constant attention that she does that didn't necessarily seem like that kind of person back then.
This looks like a part of the main interview the group did as a group. So Jisoo says, and this is interesting, because people wonder how much Blackpink has to do with the actual music and creating it. Jisoo says, we don't receive a completed song. Um, says Jisoo, 27, who grew up less than 20 miles away from the headquarters of their management company, YG. We are involved from the beginning, building the blocks, adding this or that, feeling, exchanging feedback, and this process of creating makes me feel proud of our music. If we just received pre-made songs, it would feel mechanical. I feel more love for the process because we say, how about adding this in the lyrics? How about adding this move in the choreography? Lisa, multilingual rapper, describes how the main producer Teddy Park is a firm and strict taskmaster in the studio. Opa directs all of Blackpink, she says, referring to the 43-year-old producer using a Korean honorific for an older man. He knows us incredibly well. He pushes us hard. He say again, again. It's interesting. In between pining for those mundane day-to-day experiences, they're also interested in elevating and maybe even changing what hip hop means in 2022 to a global audience. Hip hop is in my blood, says Lisa. Hip hop is in my blood, who went solo last year for the first time. I don't think hip hop is just about rapping. Hip hop means something different to everyone, as Jennie. To me, it's a spirit of cool, vibe, swag, whatever words you can use. And I think in her solo interview, Jennie said that it was saying that about Teddy, how Teddy kind of is all about hip hop down to his bones. Um, I think Blackpink's hip hop is something that the world hasn't seen before. We four girls in their 20s from different backgrounds are using Korean and English to weave pop music with a hip hop base. Maybe if the really cool rappers in America who do real hip hop look at us, they can see they look at us as little kids doing things. Our hip hop isn't the rebellious kind, but we're doing something very cool. What hip hop is this? I don't know. It's just cool. So while they are actively gearing up for their latest incarnation, the mid 20 singers are also looking forward, imagining what it might be like to share the stage in 20 years. I mean, Blackpink will last at least 10 more years. Yeah, we've seen this part. We will be nearly 40 by then, says Lisa. Someday we'll get married. Oh, God. And things like that. But when I see other groups, can we do that someday and come back together? Will I be able to dance then like I do now? Jennie suggests that even if they're 70 and have very different lives, I'll still feel like I'm Blackpink, as corny as it sounds. I don't think Blackpink will ever end in my heart. It's part of my family, and you can't deny family. Yeah. Yeah. Despite their iconic status, more than anything, says Jennie, we want to be ordinary girls. Sure, there are times when we talk about what kind of influence we could have, but what we actually love is talking about cats, dogs, man, they love animals, good food, and pretty places. Yeah. And Blackpink will always be family, basically. So yeah, very interesting. Couldn't get the full Jennie and Jisoo interviews yet, but they'll be out there. So the best interviews, the most revealing, in-depth interviews from Blackpink, from all four of them, obviously. So very cool. Um, very, very cool. And it makes you more excited for what's upcoming from Blackpink, no doubt. Well, you guys stay tuned, like and subscribe. Don't forget, please. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Foresight paradigm, fine. A foresight paradigm. Foresight paradigm, you fine. A foresight paradigm. I fight for sight.